This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Everyone cheering, Super Smiley. His message of unconditional love. Paws in the air for Super Smiley. Here to save the day.
Kindness is the way. We begin now. This is a Super Smiley Adventure, where we explore themes of animals as healers and teachers who lead us on grand adventures. I'm Megan Blake, dog trainer and the pet lifestyle coach. And I say we begin now because in dog training and life, with each day, each breath, or each new pet or challenge, wherever we are, we begin now. And I'm really living in this moment because Smiley last week suddenly passed away. All of a sudden, he was in distress, and 3 hours later at the emergency vet, he passed. And he was with me all the time, at events, on my show, while I slept, when I woke up. He was my inspirations and my partner. So for me right now, I don't know where to start, where to begin. So here I go. There are many people in the world who have encountered very special animals who seem to have this ability to communicate profoundly, to serve on a super directed path, not directed by their person, but a purpose that seems to come from the animal, from his spirit. Like you can just look in his eyes and feel what he's saying, what he's telling you. That was what it was like for me and Smiley. It was like I could see and feel what he was teaching me and moving me to do for him so he could meet people and share his message. And he did with everyone he met. People felt this connection with Smiley. It was uncanny. These animals like this move you to expand your life, your mission, and your ability to touch people. Maybe you know an animal like this. One of my dear friends, Keith Sanderson, had one such dog, Max a pooch, and they recycled. Max was the green dog who recycled, and he really, really did. Deborah Jo Chiapuzio, she stewards Emma Zen, the dog who led Deborah Jo to supply thousands of oxygen masks that have revived and saved countless pets across the country after all the wildfires. And they were awarded an International Compassion Award. There's something unique about these animals. They truly communicate to us and lead us places that we never dreamed of. I had the honor to be led by one of these special pets, Super Smiley. The theme here on our show is a Super Smiley Adventure. And I did not come up with that name or theme because it's clever or because it can be true that our pets can lead us on grand adventures. But Smiley, the 3-time abandoned shelter mutt, led me here every step of the way. So this is a tribute show to Super Smiley and to all the animals like him who seem to know more than we can on the simple human plane. Smiley passed away last week very suddenly. I'm asking you to hang with me here now as I talk through this, because this show isn't just about Smiley, but it's about us. It's about your special pet. It's about all the people Smiley touched, about my intimate journey holding his leash, and about how these animals are out there waiting to go with us and waiting to lead us. Now, just for perspective, Smiley has many, many accolades. His IMDb page, just so in case y'all don't know, that's the website that lists all the credits for all the professional actors. All the movie stars are on there. His IMDb page has more credits than some of my human actor friends. Smiley's acted in films with legends like Raquel Welch. He's walked the red carpet with icons like Betty White. And you may have seen, I love this picture with Smiley and Betty White. And Smiley and Betty White, they're consummate professionals. They'd always look at the camera and smile. But in this one picture, Betty White and Smiley, they're just looking at each other. And Smiley has love eyes for Betty White. It's just one of the sweetest, most beautiful pictures I've ever seen in my entire life. And with all this glitz and glamour, there was a lot of substance behind that big, big dog smile. He was a trailblazer. He created the world's first kindness program about teaching kids kindness through pets. He traveled the country with his kindness program, and we spoke to thousands of kids about kindness and what animals can teach us. He was one of the very first spokesdogs to share that idea, that animals can teach us. And his kindness program was emulated by national brands. He also was the first spokesdog to proudly claim the label of Mutt, and to show shelter dogs as cool rockin' pets and awesome flash mobs and not just as sad animals in a cage. The Super Smiley films won many film festivals, and for his body of work, the Los Angeles Awareness Film Festival awarded this 3-time shelter mutt a Lifetime Achievement Award. His work was given honorary mentions by the Humane Society of the United States, which is one of the largest animal welfare organizations in the world. And after they saw Smiley's perspective on cool mutts and happy rock and shelter dogs, the Humane Society of the United States actually did a marketing study to see if this messaging resonated better. And it did. And after that realization, HSUS and many other rescue organizations started marketing rescued pets more like Smiley did. He was literally helping change the landscape of the way we looked at these abandoned animals. Smiley touched so many just by being who he was. He inspired his friend, Academy Award nominee Ryan O'Neal, to adopt a dog that we brought to him on his television series. Ryan had never thought about adopting a dog, but he adopted this dog live on television, where millions of people would now see Ryan O'Neal as a role model for pet adoption, all because of Smiley's example. Smiley appeared on CNN, Fox, PBS, OWN, Hallmark Channel, and many, many, many more countless outlets as a spokesdog for pet adoption and kindness. Oh, and during the pandemic, as a community service, he helped pandemic puppies who were adopted during the lockdown by leading free dog training classes over Zoom and in special trainings videos. I'm still working with many of these puppies and their people, and they still talk about how much Smiley changed their lives. Just yesterday, one of his friends, Shelly, said that during the lockdown, he literally helped her form her new family. Smiley became State Farm's National Ambassador of Kindness. Now, this is State Farm, National Ambassador. He created the world's first flash mob for pet adoption and traveled the entire country from Manhattan to Los Angeles flash mobbing for pet adoption and kindness. And he wrote the song. Literally, I'm not kidding, y'all. He literally wrote the song, and it happened right on my sofa. The week after I got him, now remember, he's this big muscular dog. He climbed right up on me on the sofa and looked to me face to face. His eyes lock on mine. He looks deep into my eyes like he was thinking really hard. And I literally started hearing this little song in my head. I'm Smiley the dog. I am a mutt. I'm Smiley the dog. I'm super smiley. I have a cat, toots sweet, the travel kitty, and a big girlfriend. Angel's really pretty. So just so you know, our other animals were Toot Sweet the Travel Kitty and our beautiful but severely traumatized German Shepherd named Angel. She'd been abandoned 3 times in her short life, and the first time she was abandoned in the high desert as a small puppy with her ears all duct taped up. And we had a mini horse named Minnehaha, who is the companion to our beautiful Arabian horse Starfire, who I rescued just the day before he was going to slaughter because he had been made dangerous from abuse. That was our beautiful Malibu rescue crew family. So I have a cat, Toot Sweet, the travel kitty, and a big girlfriend. Angel's really pretty. I have a pony and we share a big horse. We have a big yard. Yeah, we have to, of course. I have a pool. In the summer I stay cool, drink from a fountain, live on the mountain, live high on the hog, need to be a spokesdog. So Smiley's song was right on, and I was hearing it so clearly, so fast. I literally was hearing it in my head. I ran and got a recorder and I recorded it as fast as I heard it. On the second verse, this is the verse that hits home with the message. I'm Smiley the dog. I am a mutt. I'm Smiley the dog. I'm super smiley. Have a big home hit. The jackpot. Was it always like that? No, it was not. Left alone on the streets. Downtown Los Angeles. Hard on my feet. I had nothing to eat. Throwaway dogs. Angel was a throwaway. Throwaway dogs. We have something to say. The coolest thing you can do is get a thrown away dog. Mutts Rock. It's true. Adopt a dog. Don't go to the store. There are millions like me. Why help make more? I'm Smiley the dog. I am a mutt. I'm Smiley the dog. I'm super smiley. Mutts Rock. So I recorded this song on my little device. It sounded pretty much just like that. And immediately, instantaneously, I got the idea from Smiley that would make a great flash mob. We could travel the country, inviting people to dance with us, showing how mutts rock. The throwaway animals are the best. So I looked at him and I said, okay. So I was at Starbucks in Malibu listening to this little song that I recorded with no instruments that sounded pretty much just like what you just heard. And the firemen, who are our heroes in Malibu because of the firestorms there, they came over to pet Smiley. It's like he just drew them over. He was such a charismatic, magnetic dog. And they heard the song. And as the crowd kind of grew around Smiley, a music producer walked by. Now, remember, we're in Malibu. So a music producer walked by and he liked it. And he said that he would produce it. So we got our song and with instruments. And I put it on Facebook that we were going to do flash mobs for pet adoption. And immediately we got requests for events all over the country. We flash mobbed in New York City. Washington State, North Carolina, Florida, Arizona, San Diego. And on our very, very first day, we had 2 bookings in Los Angeles, 2 in one day, and we called it Dance Day across LA. And there's so much more. 13 years worth of memories and experiences. They're just way, way, way too many things for this short little 30 minutes. But like for example, just a little bleep. He was a spokes dog for safe pet travel nationally for Toyota for 3 years. And that's just one of the things we did. And you all know he inspired this radio show's theme of animals as healers and teachers who lead us on grand adventures. But one time he led me to a place where I thought this was a big mistake. We were in the wrong place. After my first meeting there, I went to my car. I was shaken to the core and I prayed, God, I am in the wrong place. Hear what I heard next, right after this break.
Pets are part of the family. Make sure you can always afford the quality health care they need with Easy Pet Check, a nationwide pet insurance alternative. With Easy Pet Check, you'll save up to 75% on all your pet's health care at any licensed veterinarian in the U.S. Easy Pet Check accepts all dogs and cats regardless of pre-existing conditions. Visit EasyPetCheck.com. That's the letters EasyPetCheck.com. Taking care of your pet can be easy with Easy Pet Check.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Everyone cheering, Super Smiley, his message of unconditional love.
And we're back on a Super Smiley Adventure. And what our regular listeners know is that Smiley's been with me on all 132 shows I've done here on Pet Life Radio. This is the first show without him, and as always, just as we go to a commercial break, I would always say, Smiley, can you wait? Good boy. But he's not here today. So that was the first time I didn't say that, and I miss him. But back to the car with Smiley. First, what led up to this was the Super Smiley Flash Mob for Pet Adoption had now added kindness as its theme. The Super Smiley Flash Mob for Kindness. We've been asked to bring our new kindness program to the Boys and Girls Club in inner city Los Angeles. We were going to go there for 10 weeks and teach the little kids the flash mob dance and the song and see what they had learned from Smiley with lots of fun activities. They were sweet, wide-eyed little kids, but they had grown up in this area where there were gangs, inner city Los Angeles. When Smiley and I went into the club, the little kids were so happy in their safe, big club facilities, and 3 of them ran right up to me with those innocent, beautiful little faces and smiles and started asking me questions about Smiley. They said, Miss, do you stomp on his feet to make him mean? Does he kill little dogs and cats? Do you keep him tied to your roof? The children were looking at me with wide-eyed, total, sweet, innocent faces, truly waiting for the answers. I answered no, but I was so confused, like in shock, confused and horrified. And I kept my composure and we did the class, but I asked one of the adults there about this, and they told me that many of these little children had only seen large dogs used for fighting and for protecting their homes. The protection dogs were often left tied onto the roofs of the houses. And I was in shock. I had never even heard of any of this. I completed the session with Super Smiley. We had a fun time with the children. When I got back to my car, I just started shaking. I was literally shaking to the core. I had no idea what to do. And I literally prayed, God, I am in the wrong place. I don't know what to do here. I'm in the wrong place. And I heard these words very clearly. I know, I guess I'm always hearing these things, but I heard words very clearly. I heard, you're in the right place, do your thing. You're in the right place, do your thing. Of course, my thing was what Smiley was teaching, where he had led us. Smiley had led us right here. This program, the Super Smiley Project, teaching kids kindness through pets, turned out to be life-enhancing for these little children and life-changing and affirming for me. We met with the kids for 10 weeks, and each time these children amazed me and left me awestruck. One little boy had an extreme stutter, but each time he talked about Smiley, he got the biggest Super Smiley grin on his face, and he talked clearly about Smiley and how happy he made him. No stutter. One time, when I was speaking to the kids, doing a presentation, Smiley was just lying on the floor, flat on his side, sleeping, and one little boy, right in the middle of my talk, he interrupted me and said, "Oh, Miss, Smiley is now teaching us how to be relaxed and calm." My jaw dropped. What wisdom he had just spoken. Another little boy danced around anticipating our big finale day with the flash mob, and he was singing, "We're going to share kindness with our moves." They were just so happy to be with Smiley and have something wonderful and positive to focus on. We filmed our flash mob with over 50 little kids. It was the sweetest, most amazing, cutest, most blessed thing I've ever seen in my life. And afterwards, they wrote essays about what they learned from Smiley. They said they learned to listen, to be patient, to relax, and one little boy said, to love. Smiley taught me that teaching or presenting in my comfort zone may not reach the ones who can benefit most. To go where I'm called, even if it's with a 3-time thrown away Mutt leading the way. This film short about the little kids was his first winner at the Awareness Film Festival. And it's up on our YouTube at youtube.com/Megan Blake. Smiley would so love it if you watched it, and if it makes you smile, share it. My mother, who was older and on a walker, was visiting us in Malibu. She had tried to walk down 3 steps by herself, and instead, she didn't make it, and she crumpled on the stairs. She wasn't hurt, but she was very distraught and sitting on the floor, kind of crying to herself. And Angel, our German Shepherd, was very upset. Angel had been abandoned as a young puppy in the high desert of Los Angeles, with her ears all duct taped up, all infected. And then she was adopted and returned 3 times. She was completely traumatized, labeled berserk, because she would panic, screech, and crawl on people, clawing them, screeching. So my mother, crumpled and whimpering on the stairs, sent Angel into a full-on panic, running back and forth, crying, shaking, jumping up on me, clawing on me. But when I finally got past Angel to my mother, I found Smiley sitting beside her, gently leaning on her, perfectly still and calm, grounding her. I stopped to a dead stop, just fixed on what I was witnessing. Smiley was grounding her. He was holding space for her. And it was like I heard him say so clearly, "I'm a therapy dog." Now, listen, it wasn't like I thought, oh, look, maybe he'd be a good therapy dog. We can do this. No, it was like I heard him in my head say clearly, "I am a therapy dog." And again, I said, okay. So Smiley trained to become a therapy dog with pet partners. And later he also became a HOPE crisis response dog to go into disaster areas to offer comfort. I witnessed many miraculous events involving Smiley. I've seen that animals can communicate in a very deep way that humans can't. For me, they have a purity of spirit that communicates purely and deeply. We just have to see it. Smiley and I visited my mother's nursing home almost every day. We would make rounds as a therapy dog team, and people would ask him to visit their loved ones. And one day, a woman asked me if Smiley would visit her mother. But she warned me in advance that her mother just sits in her wheelchair and looks straight ahead, never moves a muscle, and can't talk. But she always loved dogs, so even though she won't react and doesn't move, she will be aware Smiley's there. So we walked over, and Smiley walked up to the side of the wheelchair and put his head near her hand. And after a few moments, the woman moved her fingers. They moved towards Smiley's head. Then her hand moved to pet Smiley. The movements were tiny, but she was moving on her own, petting Smiley over and over. Her daughter had tears in her eyes running down her face. And then the mother spoke. She spoke, repeating, "I love this dog. I love this dog." She hadn't spoken or moved on her own in over a year. I will never, ever forget that. And there's way, way more than I could ever share in this show. But I wanted to tell you also one more thing. I want to tell you how Smiley and I met and what he told me in spirit last night, right after this break.
Take a bite out of your competition. Advertise your business with an ad in Pet Life Radio podcasts and radio shows. There's no other pet-related media that is as large and reaches more pet parents and pet lovers than Pet Life Radio. With over 7 million monthly listeners, Pet Life Radio podcasts are available on all major podcast platforms. And our live radio stream goes out to over 250 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, radio.com, TuneIn, Stitcher, and other streaming apps. For more information on how you can advertise on the #1 pet podcast and radio network, visit PetLifeRadio.com/advertise today.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Everyone cheering, Super Smiley, his message of unconditional love.
And we are back on a Super Smiley Adventure. Did y'all hear the last song there? Pause in the air. It's Super Smiley, here to save the day. Kindness is the way. I love that song. It was written by our amazing producer, Mark Winter. Thank you, Mark, for everything. And the second verse is by me and Super Smiley, of course. And that song is an animated film on our YouTube if you'd like to hear it again or see the film and share it. So back to our story. I just adopted the beautiful German Shepherd Angel, who was headed for the euthanasia room the night I got her, because she had been adopted and returned 3 times and was officially labeled berserk. It was written on her paperwork, berserk. But she recovered quickly in my care, and it was very clear that she needed a grounded, confident dog who could calm and balance her, and was big and strong enough to play with a German Shepherd puppy. So I needed to find her a perfect companion, like Minnie Haha was to Starfire. So I looked at Los Angeles shelters every day, going to at least 3 a day for a month. And one day, I was in the West LA shelter that I'd visited many, many times. And let me tell y'all, each time it was almost traumatizing. The dogs were all howling. They were crying. The big pit bulls would jump onto the walls and literally bounce from one wall to the other, making loud crashing sounds on these big metal walls. And the noise of the howling and the wall banging was almost deafening. As I walked through this hallway, I saw one eye peering between the bars. It was like he was calling me over with his calm gaze. And I walked up to him and peered into these wise, deep eyes. It was as if all the noise, that noise I just described, it was as if it just stopped. And I looked deep into this quiet dog's eyes and I said, "Are you my dog?" And it was like I heard, "Yep." That's all I heard was, "Yep." And I knew at that instant he was my dog. When I asked to see him, I was told that he'd been abandoned on the streets, but they knew who the owner was. The owner had been contacted, but he hadn't called them back or technically released the dog. So the dog was technically still his private property, so I couldn't meet him in the meet and greet area. And this hold was for 21 days. So I visited this handsome, grounded dog every day, telling him he was my dog, and we counted the days. There was no way to reserve and claim him in advance. It was first come, first serve the day of his release. So on his release day, I got to the shelter 2 hours before they opened. It was still dark, way before dawn. I waited at the gates. And about 30 minutes before they were to open, other families started appearing. And I got really, really nervous. I knew the protocol was the first person to get his card off of his pen and put it in the hand of an employee would be the first in line to get him. As people arrived, I stood closer by the gate opening. And as soon as that lock turned, I bolted to his pen, grabbed his card, and practically tackled this poor employee, stuffing that card into his hand. As we filled out the paperwork, 2 other families arrived to get this handsome, grounded dog. But he was mine. And little did I know, fate had a plan. And when we got into the car, I looked back at him, and he had such a giant smile. And to my great surprise, it was like I heard him say, "My name is Smiley." Wow. And that was a complete surprise. I hadn't thought of a name for him, and I certainly hadn't thought of him communicating with me. And so very, very, very clearly, the real funny part of this story is that then I brought him to meet my chiropractor at her house. And she loves animals and is very open and aware. And I had not told her his name preference. I hadn't even decided what to name. And with my animals, they all had beautiful names like Angel and Starfire. And I wanted a beautiful, special sounding name. And I just wasn't sure that Smiley was it. So my chiropractor, she opened the car door and then she burst out laughing and jumped back, almost in alarm, laughing and giggling. She said, "He just told me his name was Smiley." So that's how Smiley got his name. That's how this all started. Almost. Wait, there's one more part to how it started. Angel, as I've said many times, was so beautiful and just she was just luscious looking. And now she was very calm around me. She was bomb-proof. As long as she was by me, she was calm and could go to events, red carpets, all of that we were doing. See, I had a television series for pets on PBS at that time. So we were doing all these big fancy events in Los Angeles, and she was going to be my demo spokesdog. And Smiley would be her companion, like Minnie Haha was for Starfire. So to start Angel at events, we took Smiley on a few red carpets with Angel, just to make sure she was going to be okay. Sort of like Smiley was to be her emotional support dog. In all the red carpet photos we saw after this, Angel was beautiful. She was relaxed right next to me in a perfect heel, just like a perfect demo spokes dog should be. But there was a big surprise in these pictures. In every single picture, Smiley was directly right out in front of us, looking right at the cameras with the most giant, charismatic smile I have ever seen in any dog in my entire life. And it became clear very, very quickly that Smiley had claimed the spot as my spokes dog. And little did I know how far he would take this and how he would touch and change the lives of so many people. But mostly, how he would change my heart to be even more open, my listening to animals even deeper, and how he would change the path of my life forever. Thank you to all of you who have shown support for Smiley over these last 13 years, and to all of you who've left pictures, stories, and beautiful comments on our Facebook page. And I'd love to invite every one of you to go to our Facebook at facebook.com/Megan Blake to read more about how Smiley affected so many. It's just impossible to share it all here. And this is the message that Smiley gave me last night. It was when I had no idea what to say in this show. I had no idea how to begin composing my thoughts, how to share 13 years of this deep and amazing journey. And I heard him say, he just said, talk about the people he met, talk about them, because that is his mission. And to keep his message, to share kindness going, you can watch and share his kindness videos with the Boys and Girls Club from our YouTube at youtube.com/Megan Blake. It's the first one in our kindness playlist. I can't express how grateful I am to all of you. This journey with Smiley has been the greatest Super Smiley adventure of all time. And the best news is that there is more to come here and in your life with more pets, each so special in its own way. Thank you, Smiley. I know your spirit's still with us and inspiring us. I feel very sad, but I can see that this was a wonderful life and a very joyful ending. Thank you all for joining our Super Smiley adventure, and we begin now.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.